Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishkam Vitam Sya Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshura Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gaurava Bhistam Supurakam Gurganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govindabhidam Ujwalam Varatanam Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Cha Divyad Bhagavat Prem Noe Bija Pranam Devam Divyathanam Suchanda Varanam Balarka Chelan Shitam Sandrananda Puram Sareka Varanam Vairagya Vidyam Buddhim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Bandetam Shubharam Madeka Sharanam Nyashishvara Shridaram Vanshakopatarubyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is Madhya-lila chapter 22. We're continuing with Mahaprabhu's instruction to Srila Sanatan Goswami. This is the process of devotional service, and then that will be concerning with abhidheya. On first verse, 1, chapter 23, text number 1. Bande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Tam Karunanavam Kalavapi Ati Gudheyam Bhaktir Yena Prakashita. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is an ocean of transcendental mercy, and although the subject matter of Bhakti Yoga is very confidential, he has nonetheless manifested it so nicely, even in this age of Kali, the age of quarrel. Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaurabhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Sri Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Aita Kohilun Sambandhas Tatvara Bichar Veda Shastre Upadeshe Krishna Eksar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I have described one's relationship with Krishna in various ways. This is the subject matter of all the Vedas. Krishna is the center of all activities. So Mahaprabhu is telling Sanatan Goswami, I've explained to you Sambandha Tattva, the relationship that we have with Krishna. And he told Jiva Swarup Oi Krishna Nityadas. Every Jiva soul is has an eternal relationship of Krishna, that we are Krishnadas. We are Krishna's part and parcel, and we are also his eternal servants. And that's our constitutional position. Ebe kohe shuna abhidheya lakan jahoite pai Krishna Krishna premadan. Now I shall speak about the characteristics of devotional service by which one can attain the shelter of Krishna and his loving transcendental service. So this is the way of that. Now I shall speak about the characteristics of devotional service by which one can attain the shelter of Krishna and his loving transcendental service. And it's said here, Krishna Premadan. That will lead you to the goal of life, which is Krishna Prema, love for the Lord. Krishna Bhakti abhidheya sarvashastrikoi ateva munigan koryache nischay. A human being's activities should be centered only on devotional service to Lord Krishna. That is the verdict of all Vedic literatures, and all saintly people have firmly concluded this. Shrutir mata prishta dishati bhavad aradhana vidim yathamat maturvani smritir apitata bhakti bhagani puranadya jeva sahaja nivahas tedad anuga atasatyam gyatam murahara bhavan eva sharanam. Shrutir mata prishta dishati bhavad aradhana vidim yatamatur vani smritir apitata bhakti bhagani puranadya jeva sahaja nivahas te tad anuga atha satyam gyatam murhara bhavan eva sharanam. When the mother Vedas Shruti is questioned as to whom to worship, she says that you are the only Lord and worshipable object. Similarly, the corollaries of the Shruti Shastras, the Smriti Shastras, give the same instructions, just like sisters. The Puranas, which are like brothers, follow in the footsteps of their mother. O enemy of the demon Mura, the conclusion is that you are the only shelter. Now I have understood this in truth. This quotation from the Vedic literature was spoken to the Lord by great sages. So the Vedas, which are Shruti, and the Smriti Shastras, like the Puranas, all this literature is saying that Krishna is the only shelter. So that's the conclusion of the Shastra. Advaya Gyan Tattva Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Swarup Shakti Rupetara Hoy Abastan. Krishna is the natural absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although he is one, he maintains different personal expansions and energies for his pastimes. The Lord has many potencies, and he is non-different from all these potencies, because the potencies and the potent, cannot be separated. They are identical. Krishna is described as the source of all potencies, and he is also identified with the external potency, the material energy. Krishna also has internal potencies or spiritual potencies, which are always engaged in his personal service. His internal potency is different from his external potency. Krishna's internal potency and Krishna himself, who is the potent, are always identical. So this is natural. Krishna is not without qualities and without form, and he has multiple energies. He has spiritual energy, he has material energies. And we see that. A person has energies. We all have some energy. You can do so many things employing your energy. So to think that the absolute truth is not a person and doesn't have any energies, that's very much, that's to limit what is actually the divinity or the spiritual truth. Svam sam vibinam shamrupe hoya vistar ananda vaikunta brahmande korana bihar. Krishna expands himself in many forms. Some of them are personal expansions and some are separate expansions. Thus he performs pastimes in both the spiritual and the material worlds. The spiritual worlds are the Vaikuntha planets, and the material universes are the Brahmandas, gigantic globes governed by Lord Brahma. So yet Krishna has different multiple energies and he has expansions. Svamsa means the Lord expands himself in so many avatars, incarnations. They're that may be non-different from him. Vibhinamsha means the jiva souls, the living entities. They're also expansions of the Lord, but here they're called separate expansions. So they Shvamsa Vishtar Chatur Vyuha Avataragan Vibhinamsa Jivatara Shakti Teganan. Expansions of his personal self, like the quadruple manifestations of Shankarshan, Pradyumna, Niruddha, and Vasudeva, descend as incarnations from Vaikuntha to this material world. The separated expansions are the living entities. Although they are expansions of Krishna, they are counted among the different potencies. The personal expansions are known as Vishnu Tattva, and the separated expansions are known as Jiva Tattva. Although the Jivas, living entities, are part and parcel of the Lord, they are still counted among his multi-potencies. This is fully described by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Apareya mitastvanyam prakritim vidime param shiva bhuta mahabaho yayedam daryate jagat. Besides this inferior nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. Although the living entities are Krishna's parts and parcels, they are Prakriti, not Purusha. Sometimes Prakriti, a living entity, attempts to imitate the activities of the Purusha. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, living entities, conditioned in this material world, claim to be God. They are thus illusion. A living entity cannot be on the level of Vishnu Tattva or the personality of Godhead at any stage. Therefore, it is ludicrous for a living entity to claim to be God. Advanced spiritualists would never accept such a thing. Such claims are made to cheat ordinary foolish persons. The Krishna conscious movement declares war against such bogus incarnations. The bogus propaganda put out by people claiming to be God has killed God consciousness all over the world. Members of the Krishna conscious movement must be very alert to defy these rascals who are presently misleading the whole world. One such rascal, known as Pondraka, appeared before Lord Krishna, and the Lord immediately killed him. Of course, those who are Krishna's servants cannot kill such imitation gods, but they should try their best to defeat them through the evidence of Shastra, authentic knowledge received through the disciplic succession. So it may seem to us very odd, even, and it is, that somebody would claim to be God. But we see sometimes there are persons who appear or show up and they claim to be God, and they attract some followers, because one of the reasons they can attract them is there's no obligation made on the part of the persons. They don't have to follow any principles. They don't have to practice any austerities. They don't have to do anything. All they have to do is pay some initiation fee to this bogus incarnation, and then he'll give them blessings, or hug them and give them blessings. If it's a she, maybe she or he become a hugging person, a hugger, I guess. But so it may seem to us, that's pretty odd that somebody would claim to be God or someone. And even if they don't claim to be God, people become teachers and yogis that can instruct people because they don't ask anything from them. It's just you have to join the club, so to speak. But there's no fees, there's nothing that they have to do. So this may seem odd, but it's actually not odd, because in this material world, the nature of everyone is due to false ego. They put themselves as the center of all attention, either consciously or unconsciously, but that happens. And that's here it's remarked by Prabhupada. He says, our nature is to be prakriti, not purusha. Purusha means the powerful, or who controls the energies. But we don't control the energies, but in the position of false ego, we think that we are of, our happiness is of paramount importance. So, but that's actually, the false ego makes us imitate God. In one sense, you can say that. Instead of seeing that Krishna's the enjoyer, we think of ourselves as the only enjoyer. I mean, that's the nature of false ego. It may sound like I'm exaggerating, but that's the nature of false ego. Say vibhinam sajiva duita prakar, ek nitya mukta, ek nitya samsar. The living entities, jivas, are divided into two categories. Some are eternally liberated, and others are eternally conditioned. So when the Bhagavad Gita says your mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy, if you're in the category of being eternally conditioned and under the control of the material energy, the chances are that your mind is not your best friend. Your mind is working for your senses. But to be your best friend, one has to be in the position of understanding one's spiritual identity. Then your mind can work in terms of satisfying your spiritual needs. What is your real necessity? Your real necessity is not just to enjoy all the resources of this material nature. Nitya Mukta Nitya Krishna Charane Unmukha Krishna Parishadnam Bunje Seva Sukha. Those who are eternally liberated are always awake to Krishna consciousness, and they render loving service at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. They're to be considered eternal associates of Krishna, and they are eternally enjoying the happiness of serving Krishna. Nitya Bandha Krishna Hoite Nitya Bahirmukh Nitya Samsara Bunje Narakadi Duk. Apart from the ever-liberated devotees, there are the conditioned souls who always turn away from the service of the Lord. They are perpetually conditioned in this material world and are subjected to the material tribulations brought about by different bodily forms in hellish conditions. So, Nitya Bandha, eternally conditioned. Se doshe maya pisachi danda kore tare adyat mikari tapatrai tare jari mare. Due to his being opposed to Krishna consciousness, the conditioned soul is punished by the witch of the material energy, Maya. He is thus ready to suffer the threefold miseries brought about by the body and mind, the inimical behavior of other living entities, and natural disturbances caused by the demigods. Adhyatmika, one is suffering due to the adhyatmika, means miseries caused by my own body and mind. Adibhotika, miseries caused by other persons. And those other persons don't have to be human beings. They may be insects. They may be bacteria. We don't know. But there are other living entities. And adidaivika. Adidaivika means the miseries caused just by being in this material world, like maybe earthquakes, forest fires, hurricanes, forest fires, earthquakes, all these kind of things. That's adidaivika. Kamakroda radosha hoya tarat latikai brahmite jadi sadhu vaidyapai tarupadesh mantre pisache palai Krishna bhakti pai tabi Krishna nikata jai. One thing. Can you open the curtain for just 1 minute? And then now you turn this for just a minute or so. So, because the deity, this outfit is so nice. I think Ramai called this, every wave is favorable, I was told.
This is bamboo.
What?
This is, I can't remember the whole name, but something to do with bamboo. Every wave is favorable is the one they wore last night, the blue one.
Oh, the blue one.
Yeah.
And this one is?
Something bamboo.
Big bamboo, let me see, I can find it.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah, big bamboo.
What?
Big bamboo.
Big.
I'm not sure where that came from.
Oh, this is nice.
This is based on a sari that Devi Shakti gave.
Oh, very beautiful. Okay. All right. Nice. Kamakroder dashahaya tara latikai brahmite jari sadhu vaidyapai tarupadesha mantre pisachi palai Krishna bhakti pai tabe Krishna nikata jai. In this way, the conditioned soul becomes the servant of lusty desires, and when these are not fulfilled, he becomes the servant of anger and continues to be kicked by the external energy Maya. Wandering and wandering throughout the universe, one may by chance get the association of a devotee physician whose instructions and hymns make the witch of the external energy flee. The conditioned soul thus gets into touch with devotional service to Lord Krishna, and in this way, he can approach nearer and nearer to the Lord. Kamadinam kati na katida palita durnideshas tesham jata mayina karunana trapa no pashanti utsrijaitan ata yadupate sampratam labda buddhis tvam ayata sharanam abhayam mam niyung shvatmadashe Kamarinam gatina katida palita durnideshas tesham jatamayina karunana trapa nopashanti utsrijaitan atayadupate sampratam labdabuddhis tvam ayata sharanam abhayam mam niyungshvatmadashe. O my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted, O my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of lusty desires. Although I have rendered these desires so much service, they have not shown any mercy to me. I have not been ashamed to serve them, nor have I ever desired to give them up. O my Lord, O head of the Yadu dynasty, recently, however, my intelligence has been awakened, and now I am giving them up. Due to transcendental intelligence, I now refuse to obey the unwanted orders of these desires, and I now come to you to surrender myself at your fearless lotus feet. Kindly engage me in your personal service and save me. Krishna Bhakti Hoy Abhidheya Pradhan Bhakti Mukha Nirik Aka Karma Yoga Gyan. Devotional service to Krishna is the chief function of the living entity. There are different methods for the liberation of the conditioned soul, karma, gyan, yoga, and bhakti, but all are dependent on bhakti. Esab sadhanera ati tuchabal Krishna bhakti vinataha dite narefal. Without devotional service, all other methods for spiritual self-realization are weak and insignificant. Unless one comes to the devotional service of Krishna consciousness, Gyan and Yoga cannot give the desired result. Because the desired result is to have some divine connection, to have some connection with Krishna. And all forms of yoga, the word yoga means to establish some connection. It's not just meant to take one to some partial level of health or or being expert in some kind of bodily movements. It's ultimately meant to give you a spiritual connection. Naiskaryam api achyuta bhavavarjitam nashobate jnanam alam niranjanam kutapuna shashvad abadro ishvare nacharpitam karma yad api akaranam. So this is Mahaprabhu instructing Sanatan Goswami how to engage oneself in devotional service. Abhidheya is called. When pure knowledge is beyond all material affinity, but is not dedicated to the Supreme Lord Krishna, it does not appear very beautiful, although it is knowledge without a material tinge. What then is the use of fruitive activities which are naturally painful from the beginning and transient by nature if they are not utilized for the devotional service of the Lord? How can they be very attractive? Well, the answer is they can't. They can't be very attractive. If even pure knowledge, which has no spiritual connection, is not very beautiful in and of itself, although one may think that I'm suffering in this material world, so if I reach the plane of knowledge and inactivity, then I won't have to get the results of what I'm doing here, which is causing me so many problems. I can avoid rent, I can avoid all difficulties just by going off somewhere and living in a cave. And I can acquire knowledge, which is, I can become a sage. But that knowledge in itself, without any connection with the Lord, it's not very attractive. Here it is. When pure knowledge is beyond all material affinity, but is not dedicated to the Lord Krishna, it does not appear very beautiful, although it is knowledge without a material tinge. What then is the use of fruitive activities which are naturally painful from the beginning and transient by nature if they are not utilized for the devotional service of the Lord? How can they be very attractive? This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam. Even after writing many Vedic literatures, Vyasadeva felt very morose. Therefore, his spiritual master Narada Dev told him that he could be happy by writing about the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Up to that time, Srila Vyasadeva had written the Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda sections of the Vedas, but he had not written about Upasana Kanda or Bhakti. Thus his spiritual master Narada chastised him and advised him to write about the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore Vyasadeva began writing Srimad Bhagavatam. So without making an individual endeavor, you'll get naturally knowledge. There's Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojata Janayasam Vairagyam Jnanam Chayada Haitukam. Without making an separate endeavor, one will get Janayat Yashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chay. You'll get both detachment from material activities or the material world and Vairagam, Jnanam, and you also get knowledge. It'll come to you in the form of realization. Not all knowledge is attained by just, memorizing something or learning. I mean, I saw that was kind of the process of knowledge when I was in school. Everything was, you of course had some contact with the teacher, but all the process was so much memorizing or learning something, and then some emphasis on competition with others. Oh, you're very good because you remember better than they do. But how much realization is there? I don't know. But when you're engaged in devotional service, you automatically get some realization and at the same time detachment from mundane thoughts and activities, which is good. I mean, I see how much sometimes it's, can see how much people are endeavoring in this world just to exist. Tapasvino dhanapara yashashvino manashvino mantravida sumangala shemamna vindanti vinayad arpanam tasmai subhadra shravase namo namaha. Those who perform severe austerities and penances, those who give away all their possessions out of charity, those who are very famous for their auspicious activity, those who are engaged in meditation and mental speculation, and even those who are very expert in reciting the Vedic mantras, are not able to obtain any auspicious results, although they are engaged in auspicious activities, if they do not dedicate their activities to the service of the Lord. I therefore repeatedly offer my respectful obeisances unto him, whose glories are always auspicious. So you have some connection with the center, with Krishna, then things become, you can say, they become... then one will have some actual connection, some result. But otherwise, people engage in so many apparent auspicious activities. And this can be related with the verse that says, even pure knowledge in and of itself is not very attractive. It has no connection with the Lord. And then it says, then what can we even say about mundane activities which are temporary and are not very... how can they be attractive? If even some knowledge is unattractive, what to speak of just mundane activities? Kevala jnana mukti dite nare bhakti bine Krishnan mukhe se mukte hoy bina jnane. Speculative knowledge alone without devotional service is not able to give liberation. On the other hand, even without knowledge, one can obtain liberation if one engages in the Lord's devotional service. One cannot attain liberation simply by speculative knowledge. Even though one may be able to distinguish between Brahman and matter, one's liberation will be hampered if one is misled into thinking that the living entity is as good as the Supreme Lord. Indeed, one falls down again onto the material platform because, considering oneself the Supreme Person, the Supreme Absolute Truth, to think that way is offensive. When such a person comes in contact with a pure devotee, he can actually become liberated from material bondage and engaged in the Lord's service. A prayer by Bilva Mangal Thakur is relevant here. Bhaktis Tvayi Stiratara Bhagavan Yadishad Daivenana Falati Divya Kishora Murti Mukti Swayam Mukuli Tanjali Sevate Sman Dharmartha Kama Gataya Samaya Pratiksha. O my Lord, if one engages in your pure devotional service with determination, you become visible in your original transcendental youthful form as Krishna. As far as as here it's saying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as far as liberation is concerned, she stands before the devotee with folded hands, waiting to render service. Religion, economic development, and sense gratification are all automatically attained without separate endeavor. Shreya Shritim Bhaktim Udashyate Vibho Klishanti Jay Kevala Bodha Labdaye Teshamaso Klishala Eva Sishyate Nadyadyata Stula Tushavagantinam. My dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the only auspicious path. If one gives it up simply for speculative knowledge, or the understanding that these living entities are spirit souls and the material world is false, one undergoes a great deal of trouble. One only gains troublesome and inauspicious activities. One's endeavors are like beating a husk that is already devoid of rice. One's labor becomes fruitless. So the goal is the Lord, but if you give up the goal of devotional service just for some knowledge or the understanding that these living entities are spirit souls and the material world is false, one undergoes a great deal of trouble. Then it's compared to beating a rice husk. Why would you beat rice husk? To get the rice out. But if the rice is already gone, then there's no point in what you're doing. If you don't have a connection with the Lord, then it's just like doing some useless labors. The Shrava eva yikevalam. You're doing something that doesn't have any result. Daivi yesha gunamayi mamai maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayamitam tarantite. This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Krishna Nityadas Jiva Tahabuligela Sedoshe Mayatara Galaya Bandila. The living entity is bound around the neck by the chain of Maya because he has forgotten that he is eternally a servant of Krishna. Tate Krishna Bhaje Kore Gurur Seva Maya Jala Chute Pai Krishnara Charan. If the conditioned soul engages in the service of the Lord and simultaneously carries out the orders of his spiritual master and serves him, he can get out of the clutches of Maya and become eligible for shelter at Krishna's lotus feet. So there should be some relationship with the devotee of the Lord. If the conditioned soul engages in the service of the Lord and simultaneously carries out the orders of his spiritual master, meaning he has some contact with those who are devotees of the Lord and serves him, he can get out of the clutches of Maya and become eligible for shelter at Krishna's lotus feet. Charivarna Shrami Jadi Krishna Nahi Bhaje Swakarma Korite Se Roravi Padi Maje. The followers of the Varnashram institution accept the regulative principles of the four social orders, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and four spiritual orders, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. However, if one carries out the regulative principles of these orders, but does not render transcendental service to Krishna, one falls into a hellish condition of material life. So just some outward activities, whether one is Brahmacharya or Grihastha or Sannyasi, it doesn't. But if one is engaged in devotional service, what is the point? What's the point of being in any position of the social order if one doesn't have a relationship with Krishna? It's just something external. Yes, even being a sannyasi, that's external. Just put on some clothes. It has to have some connection with the service of the Lord. Mukha bahuru bharebhya purushas yash ramai saha chatvaru jagire varna gunar vipradaya pritak. From the mouth of Brahma, the Brahminic order has come into existence. Similarly, from his arms, the Kshatriyas have come. From his waist, the Vaishyas have come. And from his leg, the Shudras have come. Therefore, four orders and four spiritual counterparts, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas, combined to make human society complete. Ya Esham. So this is some explanation of what is actually the Varnashram Dharma system, which is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudras. They're the Varnas. Brahman, very, the intelligentsia. Kshatriya, the the governing aspect of society, or also can also be the military, Kshatriya. Vaishya, the agricultural section of society, Vaishya, and Shudra, the working class. They're the 4 varnas. Then there's 4 social orders. Brahmachari, generally in the Vedic society, that's someone who's not married. Then comes Grihastha, when he does get married, have a family. Vanaprastha, when he gradually ends the activities in the family relationship. And then ultimately sannyas, when he becomes a renunciant. So they're the structure of the human society, but we're still told that they have to have a relation. All those orders and all those social divisions, they have to have some connection with the service of the Lord. Ya esham purusham sakshad atma prabhavam ishvaram yan bhajanti avajananti stanad brashta patanti yada. If one simply maintains an official position in the 4 varnas and ashramas but does not worship the Supreme Lord Vishnu, one falls down from one's puffed up position into a hellish condition. So you know what puffed up position means. One is puffed up with false ego. So it was a term Prabhupada would use, puffed up, meaning very proud and full of false ego, puffed up. Like a chapati, when you're making a chapati. Chapatis, you roll them and then they put on the fire and then they puff up. So some people are like that. Jnani jivan mukta dasham painu korimane vastuta buddhi shuddha nahe Krishna bhakti bine. There are many philosophical speculators, jnanis, belonging to the Mayavad school, who consider themselves liberated and call themselves Narayan, but their intelligence is not purified unless they engage in Krishna's devotional service. So even there was some attempt made, by one bogey teacher who said, everyone is Narayan and the poor person is Duridya Narayan, which we could say translates into poor Narayan. Poor Narayan. But how can Narayan be poor? He's the husband of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. She's always at the Lord's feet. She brings wealth, she brings fortune. That's Lakshmi. How can who is Narayan be the poor person? So Narayan's not poor, but here it's saying, there are many philosophical speculators belonging to the Mayavad school who consider themselves liberated and call themselves Narayan. But their intelligence is not purified unless they engage in Krishna's devotional service. They may think that because they're so advanced, they can call themselves Narayan, but they're just fools. Then here I'll finish with this verse. It's from the Bhagavatam. It's a nice verse. Yenye ravindaksha vimuktamaninas tvayasta bhavad avishuddha buddhaya aruya kritrena parambatam tata patanti ado nadrita yushmadangraya. A lotus-eyed one, referring to the Lord. Those who think they are liberated in this life but do not render devotional service to you must be of impure intelligence. Although they accept severe austerities and penances and rise to the spiritual position to impersonal Brahman realization, they fall down again because they neglect to worship your lotus feet. So they may artificially think themselves liberated from this world, but they again fall down to this material world because they have latent desires. And even in the so-called liberated position, eventually those desires will will awaken. But they don't know what spiritual desires are. They don't know what it means to be on a spiritual platform. But they have attained some level of liberation. They'll fall back to this material world to satisfy their desires, material desires, because that's the only desires they know. But on the devotional platform, there's desires for the service of the Lord. There is such a thing as shelter. But anyway, we're hearing Sanatan Goswami speak, hear from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is speaking and he's explaining the process of bhakti, of devotional service, to Sanatan. And actually, Sanatan Goswami take those instructions and present them in form of shastra, of literature, explaining. So right now, Mahaprabhu gives some indication, and then Sanatan Goswami can write about that and expand it. Sanatan Goswami is called Shastra Guru. Oh, can you give me those cartels there? Thank you. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Maranaman Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rupa Sanata Bhakta Raguna Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Rasa Raguna Echai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jao Ete Vignana Shavista Puran Echai Gosai Jar Mui Taradas Kasabar Pada Renu Mora Panchagras Kader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame More Abhilas Echai Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Manjai Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koryan Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamodam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charyasta Tara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charyasta Tara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakakshidhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishordas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namachar Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagwat Ki Jai. Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishvavaranya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Sri Ram Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Sri Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Koladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Brahmanande Hari Hari Om.
Srila Pavan Maharaj Ki Jai.